there, Nrgy here, the Self Mastery Coach, where today we are discussing how well do you know yourself? So, when was the last time that you've asked yourself that question, or have you ever asked yourself, how well do I know myself? Knowing yourself is important, whether you are single, dating, engaged to get married. Knowing yourself is important on a personal level as well as a professional level. So even if you're job searching or looking to climb the ladder, or maybe considering venturing out and starting entrepreneurship, or maybe becoming self-employed, if that is now something that is starting to interest you, well, a lot of that, those answers and the path that you will need to take is dictated on how well do you know yourself, because knowing yourself, it involves and it helps you to answer any of those questions, or all questions, such as, well, what choices do you make, what decisions should you take, what paths should you walk down, which job, let's just say if it's a job related question or situation, which job should you take? You have both option A and option B in front of you. Well, which one should you choose? Or if we're talking more personal type of situations or topic, then you need to know, okay, should I get into a relationship with this person? Or if I'm already involved with someone, is this a healthy relationship for me to maintain, or to continue going continue with this person and living our lives together and continuing to get to know each other for whatever your end result is or your end goal is. So knowing yourself, it involves, or it affects a lot of life. Knowing yourself is the prerequisite of being able to, it's the prerequisite when you're about to meet someone new, or about to take the next step or level up in the next area, again, across all areas, whether it's personal or professional. If you don't know yourself, something that you may notice is misery. You may find yourself being miserable in a lot of situations, or you may just find yourself in unhealthy situations. And that's because you don't have a foundation of who you are to then help guide you along this thing called life. You don't have a foundation of those values, your belief system, your the things that will align with who you are just personally, your personality, aligning with your strengths versus knowing what things are you may be a little bit weaker in, or those weaknesses. So knowing yourself is critical. And again, it is a prerequisite for, in my opinion, for anything that you are about to enter or about to begin. If you're someone who can't answer, or who doesn't have an answer of how well do you know yourself, or if you know yourself, you may have had the thoughts, or may have even stated the words that you hear a lot of people say, oh, I've lost myself. Well, I believe that for those who think that statement, or have actually made that statement, it's not a matter of losing yourself. It's a matter of just not knowing who you are. And once you go through the process, which is a very long process, a lifelong process at that, once you go through the process and you start to get those questions answered, then you start to learn who you are. You start to learn what choices and decisions you should make or should not make. It starts to dictate your behavior. It starts to really make things make sense. It starts to bring things together for you within your life. What I want to do now is share just a few things that you can do, or things that you can consider implementing in your life to help you answer the question of who are you, and to be able to help you along the journey of really learning yourself and getting to know yourself. Some of the questions that you can ask yourself would be, what are those things that you like? Or what are those things that you dislike? What are the things that you are good at? Or maybe the things that you're not so good at? Basically, focusing on your strengths, but also understanding your weaknesses. And you can also ask yourself, what do you believe in? What are your beliefs? So you have to start learning and answering the question of what's your belief system? So after you ask yourself more questions, again, those were just a few to get you started. The next thing that you want to do is to identify your values. By identifying your values, this is where your your guide starts to get defined, where as you are going in life, your values will guide you along, knowing what to say yes to, what to say no to. Your values will determine if this person is good for you or not, if this person should be put at a distance, or if they are safe to stay a little bit closer to your inner circle. So identify your values. And then along the process, you want to be able to define and set your goals. So you want to look forward, do forward thinking, and define, well, what is it that I want to achieve? What is it that I want to work towards? And that will also help you learn, who are you, and along the path or along the journey of just really getting to know yourself. So again, I'll remind you that this process is not just a one time sit down, pull your pen and paper out type of situation. This is a lifelong process. And along the way, what I want to remind you of is that there are going to be some things that you get right and some things that you just don't get it right. And both are opportunities for you to learn those lessons and to just continue to develop and grow and get better with each day. So I'm going to leave it there. I didn't want this video to be too long. Again, we were just talking about how well do you know yourself? And this topic came about from a conversation I was having earlier this week, as well as it tied into a question that was submitted on my form. And by the way, if you don't know what form I'm talking about, if you go into the description, there is a link to a form where you can submit your own questions or situations or scenarios where you would like me to answer, or you just simply want me to give my opinion or my perspective on it. And so with tying it in with the conversation I was having earlier this week, as well as that particular question that was on the form, this is where this video has come about. So again, I am Nrgy, the self-mastery coach and the owner of Nrgy Speaks Life. If you cannot answer the question, or you don't know how well you know yourself, you need to figure it out also, feel free to also take advantage of a complimentary coaching session that I have available right now. Go to my website. The link is also in the description, coachnrgy.com. Coachnrgy.com, and Nrgy is spelled Nrgy. You can go to my calendar and find the option for a complimentary consultation, and we can discuss this process and how you can get started. And then let's see if it will be a good fit for you and I to work together. Until next time, talk to you soon. Bye bye.